Good morning. This is guided reading for T-Rexes for Tuesday, March 9, 2021. These are the supplies you're going to need for today's lesson. You're going to need your book, some Post-it notes, so try and find some of those at home. If you don't have Post-it notes, little pieces of paper will work. You're also going to need a piece of paper or your whiteboard, because I know I didn't send home these analogy charts here for us to do our words, but anything to write on will work. Boogie boards, whiteboards, pieces of paper. So just be sure you have something for us to make our word lists on. Okay? I'll give you a moment to gather those supplies together. So pause the video, get your supplies together, then press play when you're ready to begin. All right, let's go ahead and begin. We're going to start today by using our sticky notes and our book. So go ahead and make sure you have those two things along with a pencil or something to write with. In the book, Quack the Brave Duck, our comprehension focus was analyzing character traits. That means how a character looked, how a character acted or behaved, or how a character felt. All of those things are character traits. As we look at this book, we're going to be specifically talking about Quack and what kind of a duck he was. I have some feeling words here that I've written down, and I'd like us to read those together. We're going to be using them as we think about how Quack was feeling and acting. Let's read them together. Happy, unafraid, bold, anxious. Let's read them again. Happy, unafraid, bold, and anxious. Bold would be full of courage or very forward. It's the opposite of afraid, bold. Anxious is another word for being nervous or unsure. All right, good job. We're going to be using these words, so be sure to be thinking about those as we begin our activity. I'd like you to take a Post-it note and let's go to page 2 in our books. Page 2. And let's stick a Post-it note on this page. Excellent. We're going to be just reading the page together and then deciding what type of feeling or character trait could we put on this Post-it note as we think about how Quack is acting or feeling. Let's read this page together. Quack was a very brave duck. Everyone said so. Quack was never afraid. When Mother Duck took all the ducklings to the pond for the first time, Quack's brother and sisters huddled and quivered on the shore, but Quack jumped right in and started swimming. What word would describe Quack on this page? Happy, unafraid, bold, or anxious? Okay, if you said unafraid, I would say I would agree. Let's write unafraid on our Post-it note. Unafraid. Very good. Now let's turn to page 7. Page 7. Get out another sticky note. Let's put it in our book. Let's read this page together and think, what feeling word would we put on this page? Let's read it together. I'm not going, said Quack's brother Waddle. There are big, hungry animals in the forest. We might get eaten. So Quack went into the forest all by himself. The big trees and hungry animals did not frighten Quack. He walked along looking at all the birds, trees, and flowers in the forest. Wow. What word would you give Quack on that page? If you said bold, I would agree. He was being very bold, wasn't he? Yes. All right, let's move on to page 12. And let's put a Post-it note somewhere near that page. I'm going to actually put the Post-it note on page 13 just so I can read page 12. Here we go. On the first day of school, be reading with me, the teacher was at the door waving to all the little ducklings. Quack's sisters and brother hugged their mother and hurried off to join all the ducklings gathering around the teacher. Quack hid behind his mother. "I'm not going," he told Mother Duck. "I don't want to go to school." Then the teacher came over. "You must be Quack," she said with a warm smile. "I've heard all about you." What word would describe Quack on that page? I would say anxious. He seemed very unsure and nervous. Let's write anxious on that one. Okay, and our last page is page 16. Page 16, the very last page. Put a Post-it note on that page. Let's read that and decide what word we're going to put on this page. Please read with me. Quack followed the teacher up the sidewalk to the school. Then he stopped for a moment and turned back and waved at his mother. "Try not to be afraid," he called. "I'll be home soon." Mother Duck laughed. "I'll try not to be," she said. "I'll be waiting for you." What word describes Quack? Yes, I'd say happy. Very good. I'd like us to look at a few more vocabulary words before I have you read your book again. That'll be the last thing you do. Let's turn to page 10, though. Let's turn to page 10. On page 10, can you find the word nervous? Nervous. It starts with the letter N. Good. Let's read this sentence together. "Don't be nervous, Quack," said Waddle. "Fluff and Fuzz and I will be with you." Very good. Remember, nervous means to be anxious. Let's turn to page 15. On page 15, can you find the word wonderful? Wonderful. Good job. Let's read it together. "Oh, wonderful," said the teacher. "I'm so lucky to have such a brave duck in my class this year. Let's go. They'll be waiting for us." Good job. Okay, let's move to our analogy chart next and do some word writing. We'll come back to our book here in a moment. Okay, our two chunks that we're going to be reviewing are IR and OU. IR and OU. Make sure whatever you're writing on, you have a side for the words IR, and on the other side, do a list or an area for OU. Write those down. We'll say them 3 times together. Ow, ow, ow. Again. Ow, ow, ow. I'm going to say a word and I want you to decide what chunk you hear in that word. The first word is bird. B-er-d. Yes, I-R. B-er-d. Bird. Underline the chunk. The next word, out. Out. Good. Underline the chunk. The next word, cloud. 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 Good. The next word, loud. Loud. The next word, stir. Stir. Good. Next word, first. 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 Oh, we forgot to be underlining. Excuse me. Next word, about. 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 Out. About. And our last word, thirsty. Thirst-y. Thirst-y. Good job. Let's read our words. Bird, stir, first, thirsty, out, cloud, loud, about. One more time. Bird, stir, first, thirsty, out, cloud, loud, about. Good job, boys and girls. I would like you now to get out your book and reread your book, Quack the Brave Duck. You can do it on your own. If there's a mom or a dad or a brother or sister, I'd love for you to read it to somebody out loud. If nobody's available, you can always read it to yourself. Have a great day, T-Rexes. We'll see you later.